Hey everyone, I'm Jingchen. When using ComfyUI, we often run into a common scenario. When we want to test a model or workflow parameters or just batch generate images with different prompts, we have to input the parameters, click Run, wait for the result. Then adjust the prompts and other parameters, run again, and wait for the result again. The whole process requires constant monitoring to finish as quickly as possible. Today I'm sharing how to integrate ComfyUI with Feishu Base, using nodes to automatically batch read parameters from the table in ComfyUI, and write the results back to the table one by one. And this node supports reading and writing all data types, including text, audio, images, and videos. I'll also show you how to apply this node, to embed it into your actual workflows, to achieve multi-user collaboration and batch processing, as well as other tips for using the node. This integration mainly relies on the ComfyUI Feishu table node. Developed by an author on GitHub, it supports reading from and writing to Feishu Base, as well as filtering and locating cells. I forked the project and continued developing and optimizing it, adding support for audio reading and writing, optimizing the caching logic and filtering logic to make it more suitable for real-world use cases. If you can, please give both me and the original author a star on GitHub. International facial Lark users should theoretically be able to use this node too. You might just need to adjust some of the node's code to adapt it to Lark Base. Tech-savvy international users can give it a try. I've created a workflow to demonstrate the node's features. First up is the configuration node, how to get and fill in the specific configurations. I'll explain that later in the video. For the configuration, I used a global node. Since I'm reading from and writing to the same table, so I use the same configuration for everything. If you're reading from different tables, disconnect each read-write node to its corresponding configuration node. Next are the various read and write nodes. Take the image node as an example. Enter the corresponding column name from your Feishu Base here. Make sure the column name matches exactly what is in Feishu Base. In the filter box, ID1 means match the row where the ID column equals 1. And get the image from that row. The original author used contains matching for all filters. I optimized this. Now when the matching content is a number, it uses exact match instead of contains match to avoid writing errors. For example, storyboard 1. With the old method, it would match any storyboard number containing 1, like 10 or 21, treating them all as right targets and causing incorrect entries. Filters also support column name null to get non-null values, which is also very convenient. For more features, you can clear the content in the box to see more filtering logic. Another thing to note is numeric data will also be read as text type. When connecting nodes, you need to convert the text type to the required data type, like integer or float. This will also be covered in the example workflow. In the second part, write nodes are used basically the same way. Just fill in the corresponding column names. After uploading, connect the results to preview or other nodes. The overall logic is pretty straightforward. For audio uploads, I recommend using MP3 format. Other formats might get corrupted when written. Now let's connect these nodes to an actual workflow. To implement batch reading and writing, I'm using a Z-Image Turbo workflow here, which doesn't have too many parameters, making it easier to understand how this works. You can replace the core workflow with any more complex workflow and add more parameters. The working principle remains exactly the same. I've organized all the read and write functions into horizontal groups, just like the headers in an Excel spreadsheet, to make it easier for you to understand. Vertically, it is a loop, reading content row by row based on the ID, then writing the results back to the table. In the global settings section, we have the configuration node and the ID assembly node. For example, after assembly, the first one becomes ED1, which is filled into the filter of the read-write nodes. So this loop iteration will read and write the row with ID1. Then we read the prompt, width and height. Width and height need to be integers, so we convert them to integer type after reading. These are the only 3 parameters we're reading. Then these 3 parameters are passed to the core workflow. The workflow generates an image, which is then upscaled and sent to the write image node to be uploaded back to Feishu Base. Then it moves to the next iteration for the next loop until the total number of loops is completed. I want to specifically mention seed recording. Recording seeds is mainly so you can quickly reproduce any result you like later. For seeds, you need to use the seedless node to ensure the seed is random for each loop iteration. A regular seed node will not change, even when looped in a single run. When writing the seed to Feishu Base, convert it to text. But when connecting it to the sampler, use integer type. Just use a node to convert it. A few quick tips. Images and videos written to Feishu Base from online platforms have no watermarks, so this is also a way to get watermark-free images. Feishu Base also supports batch downloading attachments, which is very convenient. That is it for the overall workflow and nodes. Now let's talk about how to get the 3 pieces of information for the configuration node. Just follow my steps one by one. First, you need a Feishu account, which is very easy to register. Then go to the Feishu Open platform, the link shown on the screen. I'll also put the link in the description. Click Developer Console in the top right corner, then click Create Enterprise Self-Built App. Fill in the app name and app description. For example, ComfyUI. Once created, you'll get your app ID and app secret, but we're not done yet. Click Add App Capability in the sidebar, then click Add Bot. Then click Permission Management in the sidebar. Click Batch Import Permissions. Copy the permission JSON I've prepared into the box. Click Confirm. Click Apply for activation. Then click Version Management and Releases in the sidebar. Click Create Version. The content will be filled in automatically. Scroll down, click Save. Then click Confirm Releases. Now, go back to Credentials and Basic Information. And you can fill your app ID and app secret into the configuration node. Now let's create a table and get the table link. There are 2 types of Feishu base tables. One is standalone base, the other is in Wiki. This node does not support wiki-based Feishu base tables. Go to this base link to create your table. Once inside, click the plus sign on the sidebar to create a new base workspace. Then click New and select Empty Base. Now you have a new Feishu base table. Click the 3 dots above the table. Scroll down, find More, then click Add Document App. Enter the name of the app we just created. Click on the app, then select the permission scope. On the right, we'll choose Can Edit or Can Manage. Then click Add. Go back to the table and just copy the link from the address bar. This is the 3rd configuration for our configuration node. Once filled in, let's test it out. Let's test the text writing function. You can see it wrote successfully. This app ID and app secret can be used permanently. After creating a new Feishu base table, just make sure you add the app to that table and copy the table link into the configuration node, and you'll be able to read and write to the new table. With this node, there is actually a lot you can do. You can completely customize the core workflow in the middle, based on what inputs and outputs your workflow has, and adjust the read and write nodes accordingly. You can even link multiple tables together. For example, in my last video, we created character and scene assets and imported them into separate Feishu base tables. Then you can fill in your storyboards according to your plan, and based on which characters are in which scene in each storyboard, index the character table and scene table respectively, using Feishu base as a database. Then use these images and prompts to generate storyboard images and videos step by step. All of this is logically possible. Feishu Base itself also supports multi-user collaboration. You can even use agents like Lobster to help fill in the tables and automate running this workflow locally or via online APIs and have the results sent to you when it is done. To achieve an even more automated process, you guys can explore these possibilities further on your own. Finally, about the cloud drive, the workflow, permission document, and demo model are all included. The node is also packaged. Just download it, extract it to the custom nodes folder in your ComfyUI root directory, and restart ComfyUI to load the node. This video took a long time to make, from coding additional node features to optimizing the node logic and testing and creating the demo workflows. Since I do this in my spare time, it took quite a long cycle. This integration method has huge potential. I'll definitely continue exploring it for my own batch work in the future. I also welcome everyone to discuss in the comments what other possibilities there are. If you found this Feishu Base integration idea and workflow helpful, please let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.